Thank you. Welcome everyone to the committee of the whole meeting for April 17th. I would like to call the meeting to order at 5:30. And I would like to call upon Councillor Marecki to read the acknowledgement, please.
We would like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 1 territory, traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, OG Cree, Dakota people. We acknowledge this is the birthplace of the Métis Nation. We respect the spirit and intent of treaty and treaty making and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration.
Thank you. Item 3, adoption of the agenda. May I have a mover for the adoption of the agenda? And Deputy Mayor Dornbach, seconder, Councillor Mondor. Any additions or amendments? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Management reports. I'd like to welcome our rec director, Teresa Howell, if you'd like to proceed. Please.
I'll just,
Oh,
can I give
sorry.
an
Yes.
intro here? So Teresa's here today. She's just going to give an overview of community centers and generally a high level overview of recreation that way. And it's a 2-part series she's doing. And the next time she comes in, she's going to talk to council, and will be within the next few weeks. She'll be doing her second part, will be with council on grants that we've received and projects that are in works now with money that we've received from other government partners. So I've asked her to come in and she agreed, and we're going to be doing this with all the departments so that council can start understanding better what they're doing. So hand it off to you, Teresa.
Sounds good, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council. Basically what you have in front of you is a short little 12-page synopsis of our not-for-profit community facilities in Yarmouth St. Andrews, as well as partners that we work with in the community and around. I don't feel I need to go through it line by line, but this is something that I would provide to new council when we start, typically in that October-November range. We just haven't had time. So we have here the first part. I listed the community groups. By ward, I have their acronyms as well. We tend to refer to acronyms a lot, so you'll have that for future use. Anything in this document will be relayed in the rec master plan that should be coming to council shortly. I'm not sure if Brent has a date on that yet, but that is another item that something councilors will get to review. So recreation, not-for-profit community organizations in St. Andrews receive insurance coverage for their buildings and content from the municipality. They receive coverage of the recreation department updates the groups with opportunities in regards to recreation grant opportunities. We do that via through their boards and committees, and usually by email. We receive communication emails from your recreation department about monthly electronic newsletters and submission deadlines. And they also receive free advertising or postings about the programs and events that can appear on our website, our Twitter account, and the recreation newsletter. I've listed them here. A few of them I have, you'll notice I have wards, but I have more than one ward, and it's mostly what wards gravitate towards the community centers. So the first one is Matlock Recreation Center in Ward 6, most northern location. That building and property is owned by the RMC Andrews. People don't know. It's run by a not-for-profit board, Matlock Recreation Club. And a little bit about them. I put that in each of the groups, so whether they get an operating grant or not, and what they do at their facilities. So that is something that you can go over. Dunhartwood Community Center, located on Highway number 8, a building and property mostly has been used privately by and run by a not-for-profit committee. Their main tenant was the Interlake Co-op Nursery, which rented the building and ran a preschool program prior to COVID. The Netley Community Center, area number 9, building property run by not-for-profit. No yearly operating grants. The hall is mostly used for rentals, social showers, funerals, and we have a newer board at the location as well. They have 2 larger events, their AGM dinner in April, and then they have a picnic near the end of June. Petersfield Curling Club, building properties run by not-for-profit board. They offer residents, neighboring municipality residents opportunity to become members and curl in leagues. They are a member of Curl Manitoba, and they do their own program registration. They do get a yearly operating grant, and they can also apply to the Ireland grant. They do minimal programming outside of curling, but we're looking at some additional activities in there, including a pickleball program. Petersfield Community Club, which is the hall, building and properties run by a not-for-profit board, a different one. And we don't get an operating grant, but they can programs. They look after the hall, the Petersfield Park and Playground, and also Mallory Park. The group started a farmers market in Mallory Park that runs on Friday evenings, Saturdays, and Sundays from June to September. And then they continued that market into the off-season months that they have in the hall. Planable Community Club, building property is run by not-for-profit board. They're registered as a charity as well. They have no yearly operating grant. They can apply for ARM capital grant. They do a variety of programming on their own, and fitness, play groups. They have renters that come in and do inspections there. The hall is rented a lot. It's very popular. It's well maintained, so for social showers, weddings, funerals, reunions, fundraisers, and you name it. They do a lot of their own fundraising. They have a good little board there. And we, as an RM, running local summer camp there, 2015 to 2019 and 2022. So the recreation department applied for grants for summer students. We do the community club profit under the not-for-profit board. We hired and trained the students. They reported to the rec department, and then we did registration and collection for the camp. And then in this model, the camp revenues stay with the municipality. We are currently transitioning the summer camp program over, so it'll be run by the community club board members. So that means that the camp will shift responsibilities to the community club, and the camp revenues will then stay with the community club. We will continue to help the board and the group with summer student grant writing, the community hiring, and the camp planning. The recreation department also uses that hall for other programs as needed. We've had done courses there in the past. Recreation department has also created new programs and used that hall in the past as well. Planaway District Rec Association, CDRA, the building property is run by a different not-for-profit board. So it's a very small board. The rink and the building are owned by the board, but are on school board property. They do get a yearly operating grants, and they set money aside for their winter sport program and then their summer sports. And they can also apply for an RM grant. They run hockey and skating lessons, as well as have public skating. Their program is soccer, and they have fields located at the Curling Club land, which is owned by the Petersfield Community Club. And then the mini soccer was played at William S. Parsons School, but it's also moved to Petersfield Park and the surrounding area. Little Britain Community Club, building and properties run by a not-for-profit board. They have no yearly operating grant, but they can apply to RM as well. They've added work programming in the past several years to increase the use of the building. is a very unique building. It has an upstairs and downstairs, so there's a number of halls, a number of rooms that can be used and rented. Lots of social showers, weddings, reunions, and fundraisers. Very popular there because they have the round tables, and they have 2 kitchens, one upstairs and downstairs. I believe one is for sure commercial, I'm not sure about that. And they have a bar and a stage. They also have outdoor camping facilities located on the property for renting. And they offer and have been offering since 2013. Arts and crafts camp, very specialized craft camps for kids, and very popular there. We have programs run by the group. They do their own programming, their own collections and purchases, and we help them to apply for our students for their grants. Rossdale Community Hall, that building is used privately, mostly is run by a not-for-profit committee. I believe the Rossdale Ukrainian Dance Group still use hall to practice. Creation Community Hall, which is located in Ward 3. That building was sold, is now privately owned. There was a large hall on the site as well as outdoor play area and outdoor building. There were 2 large soccer fields located at the site that the community club and the soccer program were using for about 10 years. St. Andrews Community Club, the building property is run by a not-for-profit board. They have 1 full-time contract employee in management and several seasonal employees hired for canteen operations and programming. They get a yearly operating grant. They can apply for the RM capital grant. The facility consists of indoor and outdoor ice rink, community hall, canteen. Canteen is run by the club with hired staff and volunteers. At one point it was leased out, rented out, but that was only for brief time. They use the St. Andrews School, Lockport School, and Salford Baseball Diamonds for softball and baseball programs, which are run by a separate sport organization. And then the Lockport School Fields and St. Andrews Airport Fields for soccer programming. And again, another group runs the soccer. They offer numerous programs, events, fundraisers. They used to have weekly bingo, but it was canceled due to shrinking attendance. And that was mostly due to casino bingo being so popular. Recreation department started summer camp there over 15 years ago. And it runs out of the hall and the rink. They can for themselves, they can prepare the registrations online, but they do the payroll and camera and the recreation department helps them by finding the grants for the summer students and hiring. St. Andrews Heritage Center, which is currently located at the St. Andrews Rectory. Some of you have had an opportunity to visit the building, and I gave the CAO and the CAO a tour last week. The building property is run by a not-for-profit committee, and it was originally established by the RM Council under bylaw number 4065 in 2001. That group is also registered as a charity. They get a yearly operating grant and can apply for the RM capital grant. The St. Andrews Heritage Advisory Committee is started by Lee Foster, Pandaboy resident, and other interested community residents. And the RM donated the Riverview building to the committee to start the center. And it was mostly run by volunteer seniors. The big part of that was the creation of the books, the history books. After that, the space is used to display heritage items from the community, regular settlement. New members joined the committee, and then a need for different spaces created. Parks Canada had been running the St. Andrews Rectory for several years, and they were partnering with the St. Andrews Church to keep it operated in the summer months. The federal government had budget cuts, programming was eliminated at the site. And then the building was basically left with a small downstairs museum with the Reverend Sherman living upstairs in the rectory until he retired around 2011. The opportunity came up to lease the building. from the federal government. So the Arma St. Andrews, negotiated the agreement to lease the space for 20 years, so from 2013 to 2033. And the Heritage Center is now a historic building site. With the help of the Recreation Department, the Heritage Center Committee runs programming for residents and visitors year round. Its busiest time is from May to September. We have 5 grants for summer students and a number of other grants. Students report to a museum administrator and volunteer board. We manage the workload and programming, and the Heritage Center Committee does their own payroll. The Heritage Center offers tours to public groups, seniors, school field trips. They're open 6 days a week in the summer months and 4 days a week in the off season. So that would be fall, spring, and winter. Numerous programs are offered all year long, but specifically in the summer months during the days. In 2014, the committee started a heritage garden that was maintained by volunteers, and now all gardens on the site are managed by a group of master gardener volunteers, which we partnered with. The Heritage Center receives funding through Young Canada Works, usually for a yearly intern, which keeps the building open, otherwise that would be a little bit impossible. Parks Canada does a lot of maintenance as required. They complete small renovation projects for the Heritage Committee in the past years. They had removed old panels and track lighting from the downstairs rooms because they were a hazard. They updated some lighting to LED, updated the water filtration system. They did paint for repairs, porch deck repairs, and water maintenance. And a few years ago, they replaced the entire shingled roof. The Heritage Center did a feasibility study on the space to determine what historical items should be featured and promoted in the building. And then in 2018 to 2020, they started renovation and installed new exhibits and displays. With the Manitoba 150 opening fund. Red River Ancestry Genealogy Center is currently housed on the second floor of the building for research purposes, and that is bringing a lot of new people into the building. Prior to moving to that building, they were located in the Riverview building. Some people called it St. Andrews Beach Family Building. It was originally the first fire hall in the building. The property belongs to the RM and was used by the St. Andrews Heritage Center Committee. The RM has a small operating grant or operating budget grant to pay for the building expenses. The Heritage Center no longer uses the building as a museum, but stores excess artifacts in the building and uses space for larger community programs and events at the Catholic Rectory. Another group that uses the building are the Age-Friendly / St. Andrews Men's Group, a small group of about 10 members. They use the building periodically for senior community programs events. And then the Rossdale Dancers store their costumes in this building, a small room upstairs. I've listed just off the top of my head some provincial, federal, and organizational grant programs that we actively apply to. Number 18 is others that come up randomly, new ones, one-time kind of grants. There's also other foundation grants that groups can apply to that are more for the city of Winnipeg, but funding has been provided for those groups. And then the last 4 pages of this document, I just quickly put in some community organization and how they operate and how we operate with them. So Interlake Rec Association, that is recreation staff in the Interlake. We attend monthly meetings. It originated, I believe, through the province. We do have provincial support. Municipal relations, in good old George attends our meetings. We partner with Split Manitoba and Interlake Eastman Regional Health Authority. So it's really agendas that are created by our IRPA board, and especially. We also organize and host summer leader workshops for hired summer camp students each June. Many times we invite other recreation departments from around the province to attend those as well, because they don't do their own training, so they piggyback on ours. We meet at different recreation facilities in the region and share our resources. When I started in 2010, everything was secretive and hush hush, and nobody wanted to tell the other neighbor what we were doing in recreation. But now we share everything, and it makes all of our lives much simpler for getting instructors and just getting things into the community, not having multiple programming of the same type happening at the same time. So we try to spread everything out. We have a yearly recreation conference that's held by Recreation Manitoba in the first or second quarter. And then Ear Lake and Eastman Rec often get together for training workshops. The Ear Lake Municipal Rec Association, IMRA, was halted during COVID. There's supposed to be plans to readdress that membership. That's basically similar to what the rec professionals do, but it's for council to attend. The Ear Lake Swim Association, you're part of that. Again, that was halted during COVID. And at this time, they're currently concentrating on communities along highway number 6. That's really where that association started from. A lot of deaths happening in those areas. So it was a program that was run and mostly administered by municipal relations as well. There was support from the Green Team student organizing the whole program, being able to hire the swim instructors, which is very challenging for rural as well. Inner Lake Tourism Association, if you're familiar with that group. We are part of that group. We are invited to their AGM and other events throughout the year. We have opportunities to advertise and tourism guide, other co-op advertising. Red River North Tourism, you are there. Through that. There's also a regional heritage group that's during COVID. Again, we'll synchronized by Rob Sargentson, who's a resident of St. Andrews. Basically having monthly meetings, having a number of different volunteers, committee consists of individuals from the three municipalities, St. Andrews, St. Clements, and Selkirk, who are interested in historical projects for the region. That group would do a lot of historical walking tours, bus tours, lawn parties, historical reenactments, and deal with historical properties. A lot of the tours occurred in Selkirk, but there was tours that were combined as well. And the Association of Manitoba Museums, you're a member of that group. They offer discounted museum training for staff, volunteers, and employers, and we also do trainings and staff for committee members when needed. They have a monthly newsletter and they provide many services to museums in terms of artifacts and what we need to know in order to keep our items safe. Selkirk District Community Foundation, we work with and have for a number of years now. We've had a presentation from Plank and her group the other day. We also have a smaller partnership with Manitoba Parks through the province. We participate in some of their student tourism training when possible. We promote Manitoba Parks programs and events in the St. Andrews area, and they promote ours. They're the group that's responsible for the maintenance of the Red River Parkway along St. Andrews Road and the Captain Kennedy House this time. We do have a partnership with them right now. We have some furniture in our parlor that is from Kennedy House. So we were able to get that a number of years ago, right before we created the new displays. And then Parks Canada, a federal partner, is the lead. So we meet with Parks Canada reps throughout the year for speed modeling.
Thank you,
In a
Teresa.
nutshell.
Thank you. Very good report. Council, do you have any questions for Teresa? Council Stiker?
Who determines, like these organizations that use these buildings? I'm assuming they all belong to, like, they all belong to the RM, is that correct?
All the buildings belong to the community groups. The only buildings that belong to us are the Matlock and the Riverview building.
Okay, so who does, so for that age friendly building, who does the, like, who looks after the yearly charge for the group to use it? Is that you or is that you? Is that the council, like, who would do that?
That building we've had, let's see, don't have clear set rules set in place right now. It was kind of, word of mouth of museum was in there, and then once the museum, that group moved, then some council provided that building to the age-friendly group that used the building.
At no cost?
At no cost. Anything that they're doing in there, like they raise their own money. There is like there's no phone in there, there's like heat that we pay for. But other than that, and they're connected to, that building's connected to the sewer system. Yeah,
It's connected to the sewer system.
it is connected.
Wow, nice building. Okay, so that's something that we would have to look at, maybe presenting in with a contract for a charge to be using it, is that correct?
Well, we'll have to see, it's the will of council, we'd have to find out more
But
about.
that's you, not.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my question.
In my one comment, like upstairs, Teresa mentioned here, it's the Ukrainian dance group. They store all their costumes.
So a lot of that, like, a lot of this has been going on for like, years prior to myself. There are no memorandum of understandings. It's something that we want to work towards, and just make sure that, we're really not kicking anybody out or whatever, but we need to have, clear direction on how we want to proceed with that building and how we want to have partnerships with the other groups as well.
Councilor Hunt, you had your hand up.
Well, it's just a community center, like it's a drop-in center for seniors or whatever they want to use it for. Something that we provide, we've heard before that recreation costs our money, but it enhances level of life and that for people. And it's, so it's just part of the community. There's organizations that can go in there, if, maybe we need some more, groups to go in, like they play cards or whist, whatever the games are. So
Yeah.
it's there to be used by the RM.
Exactly. At this time, we just don't have a mechanism for, renting it out or like it's a bigger issue because who's going to manage that? So
And
it's
then just
something we're
as a
looking at. for the
Comment
next
and tried on as a counselor, Councilor Carolick appointed me as the secretary. So I'd go to their meetings, and I mean, that could be used for small showers. There's a million things it could be used for, but I did up versions of simple rental agreements. No, they didn't want any part of it. So
Yeah, so then that's what I'm saying, like, we need to roll that in and we need to come up with a process that. I mean, if it's hooked up to the sewer, the taxpayers have paid for that, we're paying for the hydro, we're giving them a little grant, like. No. That's not today's world.
Councilor Hunt,
So that's the key concept. The taxpayers are paying for it, so the taxpayers should be able to use it. And that's without charge. Like I can see a charge for a shower or something like that for a cleanup, something small, but that's what it's for. The taxpayers pay for it, so taxpayers can use it.
any further comments, or questions by council? I just have one question, Teresa. This is great. Okay, summer camp is now being taken over by the hall over here, the community club board. So that means you'll assist them like with
Oh, yeah, yeah.
students or whatever, but so then they will collect the registrations, they'll be buying all the supplies for the camps, that will have nothing.
That's basically what we did that at St. Andrews Community Club, and that's where we're going with Planwood Community Club, so then the revenues go back into their pockets and they can use it, and they would be doing all.
Oh, so that's great, because that's what we've needing a lot from you.
And that's gonna free up our time to do other things in the community with other groups.
And the soccer club at the Croatian Community Club, are they still used or no? You
Oh,
know,
the soccer field?
I mean soccer fields, yeah.
Yeah, I don't, it's private, someone private bought it, so I don't think that land is.
And the two large soccer fields looked after the Plandaboy District Rec Association, are those busy in the summertime too?
Or in
Council
Petersfield?
Petercorn's- Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Very.
I think they had to move from the schoolyard because there wasn't enough room for the little kids here, so.
oh, okay, that's good. That answered one of our questions from the Saturday meeting. Okay, thank you. Anything further, council?
I guess just a comment, the Croatian Hall always was privately owned. You know, so.
Yeah,
Because it was owned by a private organization, not a community organization.
Correct, but when they sold, we lost that ability to, and I mean, we no longer insure the building, we don't have anything to do with that
Okay.
land or.
Okay.
the area.
Okay, thank you. Anybody, anything further?
Just want to thank Teresa for doing this. It was well done.
Yes,
Thank you very much, Teresa.
thank
No
you.
problem.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, next item, we're putting 2 monthly progress reports from the CAO and assistant CAO that were on the agenda. We've all had the opportunity to read. Any comments or questions about the report? Councilor Slaker?
I just want to say that that is the best agenda reports I have ever witnessed in my life. My hat's off to all of you. I look forward to the next 3.5 years of seeing stuff like that. And I did the biggest happy dance around my kitchen you ever seen when I spent 2 hours reading it and figuring it out. So thank you so very much.
Thanks for those comments.
Yes, thank you. Didn't take the exact words out of my mouth.
You didn't do the happy dance?
Did you ever get the happy dance?
No, we're recovering from medical allergies, so I can't. We'll see for next month. But no, thank you. Are there any comments or questions on the reports? Okay, item 4.4, animal control report are attached, explanatory. Any comments or questions on the animal control? Councilor Murphy, you always have excellent comments. You're deep in thought. Do you have any comments?
It's pretty shallow, of a report. There's not a heck of a lot there. I don't know. Does council feel that we need a little bit, more information on that report, or are we just satisfied the way it is?
The animal one, like
Yes.
the first part and the second part?
How much more can you put in there? I guess.
I don't know.
I don't know. I do agree. It seems pretty sparse, but at the end of the day, when you have 11 horses running around and they can't find them or they go back to their field, it's.
He didn't even have anything to do with the horses. I followed that on Facebook. The guy came and got him and
Yeah.
rounded them all up before we. Did this man live in Tyndall or something? Like, where did this man come from?
Is that?
The animal
The
control
animal
officer?
control.
Works for Prairie Bylaw.
But where does he come out? Like, does he live out here? Does he come from Winnipeg to these animal things or? Because if you read the minimal report of the dog call, it appears by the time he gets there, somebody come and got the dog, is what I took away from that. So if we're paying mileage for him to come from Winnipeg to Plandaboy, Petersfield, or Merle, or mine. And with social media all over the place where everybody screams and yells, there's a dog on the road. And it gets taken back, again, it goes to the cost that we are spending on Prairie Bylaw.
I'll say this, animal control isn't on every corner where you have a provider to do animal control that does it in a healthy way. So, I'm thinking that, sometime in the next short term, I'll look into this a little more. We would do I don't know if we did a tender for bidders on this. I know there's only 2 or 3 providers that are in the capital region. So, yeah, it's hard. I don't know if this person lives in the community or where they live, but it's hard to say, right? I'd have to look into it more.
Okay, if I understand, the Selkirk bylaw man that we all be driving around in the city of Selkirk, he does animal control as well. I've seen that man stop that truck and
So
catch a dog.
who is that man? Like, I mean, is that the Selkirk bylaw?
Yeah, the truck says
So he works-
Selkirk
So
bylaw.
he works for Selkirk?
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, why can't that go hand in hand out here?
But if he works for Selkirk,
I
how,
get that, but if we were to hire somebody
I
as a
think
bylaw,
The best would be, Brent, we've mentioned this about bylaw before. The CEO or assistant CEO we're gonna have to look at other options. Or partner up with Winfrey Beach, partner up with Selkirk, somebody, for the amount of calls we're getting.
we've talked about bylaw and budget. And there's up to 4 organizations doing bylaw here. So, yeah, it needs to be looked at.
and animal control would be
That's
considered to
under
go
bylaw.
with it.
Yeah,
That's
Okay,
under bylaw.
that's my question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Councilman Moran?
Usually bylaw and animal control are separate organizations that really don't mesh. All that would be contracted out. There's only a handful of people that actually specialize in
Animal control.
That's the problem. I mean, it's difficult to get people to do that job.
Oh, and you have to have a facility where you could take the animals.
Yeah, you have to have holding areas, etc.
Just gonna say that they have a facility set up with a veterinarian somewhere.
Yeah.
In the north end of the city or different parts of the city. They do animal control for other municipalities as well. I think this is one where you need someone to be able to answer the phone, whether it be a dangerous dog or something on a highway that could cause legal action against the RM. So I think you want yourself protected on that. So.
Any further comments? But that will be looked into.
Thank you.
You missed 4.2. Oh, no, I mean 4.3. You did 4.2.
At 4.3.
Just one.
Why is this frozen? Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Who is this by? This is the Public Works?
This is total.
Oh, total. Okay, your comments?
Well, can I just
Okay,
get into it, Counselor Hunt, first?
Sure.
So we have a request for, I call a request for service system. It's a software program we have, so the public or council or staff can enter requests for services into the system. We haven't been doing reporting on it here, so I'm introducing reporting now. And this will break down where your requests are coming from, and we provided a pie chart here, so I've put the first quarter in for this year, and then we have all of last year. What we'll be able to do is you'll be able to see where we're busy. We'll be able to, as we move forward here, compare year to years. And if you notice, you will notice in the year 2022 that when we had that really wet part of the summer, that there was a spike, and we've got that's in the third attachment. You'll notice in April, there's a big spike in that timeline chart. And that's when it was wet, and we had over 300 requests for service at that time. So they break down into bylaw, drainage, grass cutting, weed control, all those types of things. So we'll evolve as we move forward. I call this a product that will change as we go, and we'll learn how to use it better, and we'll bring ideas, and we'll grow with the request for service. But this was our first chance to report for you and for you to get an idea what's going on up there.
So are these all come off Service Tracker?
Yep.
Okay, this is excellent.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Councillor Hunt?
So, yeah, so that's what I wanted to mention. So you can see at the beginning of it, so 50%, basically 50% was entered by staff and the other 50% from people off of the website. But what I wanted to bring attention to is the bylaw part of it, you know. Sometimes we think bylaw is a big deal, whatever, but 239 requests for service with bylaw. And if you read what they are, probably 25-30% could be handled with education, or like Councilor People said, better information through our newsletter or through our website. A lot of it is questions. You know, so when we do look at bylaw services in the future, we should look at what the concerns are. And to me, doesn't require a full-time person. But it's just, you know, and then you look at the requests or the, for the past 3 months, there's been 10 bylaws, 10 requests for bylaw in total. We take that over ×4, it's 40. We're on track for, but I know there's more requests in the summertime for maybe parking and situations like that, but it's a good snapshot and great information to, and we should use this. This is no different than a, that we put out for people to reply back to of what they want require for service, like statistics and that. So this is what the service is required, you know, 13 weed concerns, unsightly only 17. Well, there was 26, I guess, in total, 13. A lot of them are traffic violations, trespassing, but a lot of it can be handled through education. So it's a good report to look at when we look at bylaw. So thank you for that.
So the thing is, I haven't analyzed the data yet. You haven't had a chance to analyze the data, but we know we have data to look at. So, you know, you're on the right track there, Counselor, and we'll take this data and we can look at it, and then we can move in different directions. This data tells us, you know, in the past, I've used the data. You often hear, oh, we need to hire people in this area, or we don't. Well, tell me why. You can never get the reasons why, or it's just really busy. You know, this data could back that up, or this data could back up where council says, you know, we need to have a stronger presence on bylaw. I can use this data to go, you're right, and then pinpoint where we're weak and where we could use help, and then look for a bylaw service that's more in that direction.
So what I was looking for was survey. So like this is basically a survey. If we put the survey out of what people we want for bylaw, we have the answer right there, because that's the request for service that come in, you know, and to me, it's better than a survey. So as long as we take that into account when administration does that, but great, it's great to have this information and go yearly also. And I like the idea that it's being used by the residents too. So you have 50% intake of staff and 50%. So 805 people from the website and 876 entered by staff, which again could be done by education. Every time we do it, a news blast or the reports for the high water events and that kind of stuff, the information's at the bottom of it, register for, you know, and how to register and how to go online and get the app for the service request. So, good job. Yeah.
Thank you, but we still have a large population that don't have access to computer services. That's why I know I've been busy entering my own. I think some of you all have been entering on Service Tracker, because they don't have, our seniors a lot don't have access to computer.
How does it know if I put it in or they?
So because you put your name in,
I didn't do that.
you would have had to, because it's got a line item that you have to put the name in.
No, I
See,
put
if
the
I-
resident's name in.
If we put our name in, I was just told, we put our name in, and then in the body of it, you say you received a call from so-and-so, the address, the phone number,
I didn't do that.
then I will get a response as to what action was taken.
Oh, cool. I didn't do that.
I think the system can pick up if it's entered on the website. I think there's an app on the phone that you can load, that you could enter, or it could tell if we're doing it from here. So yeah, that's something we would track too. I think we're healthy here. I think that having half of the people entering their own is good, and we want to get it. I'd like to get it to a point where we reach 75% of these service trackers are entered by people from their home base as as they need their service request.
See, when I go to enter, go to the ARM website on the ARM iPad or the phone, it won't let me fill in the blanks. I have to do it on my home desktop computer, my personal.
Yeah, so in order to use a mobile device, you have to download the BCN app and fill out the service tracker. If you could just go to the website, the RM website on your iPad, there's certain fields that you cannot scroll to. That's what I ran into.
Oh, easy. Thank you. I'll be owning it.
I didn't.
Counselor Hunt?
So that part of it is actually simple, and like, I don't get many phone calls as it is, but the ones I do ask to call in, a lot of them do. And some of them say, oh, you know, don't even worry about it then, so I will do it then, you know. Because if it's, you know, if it's important of them to call, it deserves being tracked. And even if it's not important, it just still a concern. It shows the education is working, because 5 years ago, it would have been, you know, nobody would have been using it. We never had but that event 5 years ago, it was more with an email, but I think this is really, really good.
Well, in the old days, you'd phone in and it would go on somebody's desk and it probably would go in a big pile. And then at the end of the month, you know, that file that would go into. And this also provides you with a trail, right? Okay, what happened to that request? And also gives me the opportunity to have regular meetings with staff where we go, you know, we're going to have someone that's solely responsible for service tracker here. And we're gonna go, okay, which ones have been open over 10 days? And then we go through them. And I don't know what our service level is there, but we go, if someone puts in a service, for example, I don't know what it is yet, but if someone put in a request for service, it needs to be completed in 72 hours. If it isn't completed in 72 hours, it goes to the director of that department. If it's not completed in, you know, 4 days, then it gets elevated to the CAO. So we're able to make sure things keep moving. And that's why I call it a living beast, and I'll call request for service a beast. We're always going to be thinking of better ways to use this information.
That's a good report. Deputy
Wonderful.
Mayor Dornbos?
Whoever was responsible for putting the pop-up on the splash right away on the front page, thank you very much, because it saves a big headache for some people trying to find out where that service tracker link is. Whoever did that, thanks.
And it worked, could even I could.
Anybody else have any comments? Thank you. Moving on to item 5, accounts. Attached 5.1 are financial statements are done to the end of March. Everyone's had a chance to review. Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we'll move on. There's no reception of delegates, no business, new business. Item 8.1. Manitoba Association of Municipal Emergency Coordinators Training Certificate. Congratulations to Sherry Denick, who's received her training certificate. She worked so hard on all this emergency. She's just doing an awesome job.
She is, and I'm gonna jump in, Madam Mayor. She is one of the highest educated coordinators in the province right now with this program. She's taken upon herself to attend all the meetings, take all the courses. So I wanted to make sure this was on here, so she would be recognized from council for what she's doing. And when you have someone like this on staff, the time they become most valuable is when the emergency happens. So I would often hear like, why are we paying so much money for to get in these emergency programs? Why are we so focused on getting educated on this? You only find out that answer when a tornado goes through your community, or you have a flood or a train derailment or something like that. That's what we're buying here. We've got Sherry, that we ever get into a situation, she's going to be able to move to the forefront and help us on that. And you can see right now with the correspondence you're getting from her on a regular basis with the ice jamming potential, that I just really need council and myself to recognize for that person that we realize what you're doing and we appreciate it.
And we do.
Yes, thank you.
Very
That,
much so.
and the report she's been giving on the drone,
Yeah.
everything's on the other, it's just been excellent. Like I got called, I had 10 minutes her global for an interview, whatever, Friday. Well, thank, she had just sent that report the night before, then I called her to confirm any updates. She's on. Just wonderful. So anyway, congratulations, Sharon. Next item, 7.2, policy number ADM 12, social media and communications. Everything is attached. Brent or Lisa, would you like to make comments on this?
No, it's pretty straightforward, so we just needed some guidelines, so we have some social media presence. We want to take it to the next level. I know this community has a little bit of a Facebook presence going on, and the RM needs to be involved in that. But we wanted to have guidelines, so we want this to be respectful when we're on there, so we have, if you're not respectful in our guidelines, what we're going to do, you know, we could remove a post, different things we could do. And then also it says, what do we want to do, right? So we want to, our jest is about sharing information, not propaganda or having people put their own missions on there. So that's what this is about. You've all been able to read it. I'm not going to go through it. If you have questions, I'd be prepared to answer.
Council, do you have any comments?
I thought it was very well written, and I realized that previously never had anything like this ever, so it's spot on. Like, thank you for taking the time to do it.
Yeah, thank you. So it'll come forward to the next meeting for a resolution.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, next item is in camera. Motion that council move in camera at 5:22, 6:22, sorry, to discuss matters that are in preliminary stages and respecting which discussion in public could prejudice the municipality's ability to carry out its activities and negotiations, as well as legal and personnel issues. And be it resolved that the members of council agree to keep in confidence a matter that is discussed at a meeting that is closed to the public under subsection 1.23, and that the committee decides to keep confidential until the matter is discussed at a meeting of the council or a committee conducted in public. May I have a mover, please? Councillor Mondor, Councillor Sliker. Seconds. Any comments? All in favor? Carried. We're in camera. Thank you. Motion to move out of camera at 7:43 p.m. May I have a mover, please? Councillor Feeble-Corns, moved by Councillor Feeble-Corns, seconded. Councillor Mareki. All in favor? Carried. There's nothing coming out from in camera, so motion to adjourn. May I have a mover for motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:44 p.m. Councillor Syker, seconder, Councillor Dornbach, Deputy Mayor Dornbach, all in favor? Carried. Good night, everyone.
Meeting.